The important arts and artists of Expressionism.
Woman in the Garden is an oil painting begun in 1866 by French artist Claude Monet when he was 26. Acknowledged during his lifetime as one of the best artists of all time and the driving force behind the French Impressionism, Claude Monet devoted his life to the study of plein air painting and the momentary character of sunlight. This particular garden rented is where he stayed for a while as a child. The estate belonged to Manet's cousin, so he had a natural connection to it. The aim of this artwork was to discover how figures within a landscape could give the impression of that air and light move around the woman rather than other way around. This was a huge achievement as an early plein air work for Monet. The challenges it had presented were immense, but he overcame them to create this stunning masterpiece. His cousin and wife Camille posed for the figures. Monet finished the works indoors and used magazine illustrations to render fashionable contemporary clothing. Monet has skillfully rendered the white of the dresses, anchoring them firmly in the structure of the composition, a symphony of greens and browns, provided by the central tree and the path. The dresses are definitely a centerpiece of the painting, and it strikes against the greens of the garden surrounding the woman with face that has no particular detail. Monet used his traditional technique of brush strokes that are visible to the eye, which gives the painting a texture and movement. Though a beautiful work of art, it was not appreciated immensely in a major exhibit for the Salon due to the Impressionist style used. One important element, the figures in the group lack any dramatic relationship with each other, that there is no storyline in the painting. The painting was purchased by fellow artist Basile to help support Monet at the time when he had no money. Fascinated by the effects of the atmosphere on light and color, Monet created many studies of the same subject observed under different conditions. His favorite model was his first wife Camille Monet, who appears in over 30 of his paintings. The Starry Night. Dutch artist Vincent Van Gogh's most celebrated and recognized works in the art history canon. As mentioned earlier, Vincent van Gogh from year 1853 to 1890 had an artistic career comprising only 10 productive years. He left more than 800 paintings and 700 to 850 drawings to send to his brother Theo. The original Starry Night painting hangs in the Museum of Modern Art, also known as MoMA in New York City, New York, USA. It is 132 years old now. He painted the Starry Night during his 12-month stay at Saint Paul de Massieu Asylum near Provence, France. Several months after suffering a breakdown in which he severed a part of his own ear with razor. This dark art, committed in 1888, marked the beginning of the depression that would plague him until the end of his life. He used impasto and intense use to paint the scene from the memory or possibly drawings and used his imagination for the small village that did not actually exist, because he was not allowed to paint in his bedroom. In a letter addressed, he stated that night was more colorful than day and that stars were more than simple white dots on black. In early June, Vincent wrote to Theo, "This morning I saw the countryside from my window, a long time before the sunrise with nothing but the morning star, which looked very big." The dominant morning star in the painting is actually Venus, which was in a similar position at that time Van Gogh was working on the Starry Night, and it would have shone brightly as just it was painted it on June 19, 1889. Cypress trees have long been associated with death in European culture. 1 week after painting the Starry Night, he wrote to his brother Theo, "The cypresses are always occupying my thoughts. It should like to make something of them like the canvases of sunflowers, because it fascinates me that they have not been yet done as I see them." Considered symbolically, the cypress would have seen as a bridge between life, as presented by the earth, and death, as presented by the sky, commonly associated with the heaven. This connection gives a special significance to this Van Gogh quote, "Looking at the stars always makes me dream." The Starry Night was not a return to the romantic or to religious ideas. Though Van Gogh in his lifetime was viewed as a madman who cut off his ears, He exemplifies the struggling artist suffering from illness. Van Gogh was aspirational, innovative, and looked at the world in a new way. He was kind, passionate, and sympathetic to the suffering of those around him. What we must learn from his life is that art can be the best coping mechanism for the troubles in our lives. It may not gain fame and appreciation from the world, but you will definitely gain a deeper appreciation of yourself.